All right, you subscribers, listen up. I was on a walk over to the dollar store in the blazing heat. We've had this big heat wave. And I looked in the street, and there was an old friend in the street. And you'd say, an old friend, yeah, I'll get to that. Uh, I looked at it, and I said, on the way back, if it's still there, I'm going to pick it up and take it home. So I went into the dollar store, got what I needed to come back, and it was gone. Now, what was the old friend? It was a coat hanger, a metal coat hanger, and it was chrome plated. It was silver. And I haven't seen a regular steel coat hanger in years. Now, a lot of you know, oh, I have coat hanger, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, right. Around here, all the shopping centers, there's always coat hangers in the parking lot. But there's various types of plastic coat hangers, so you never pick them up. Uh, I guess you could use, if you're into 3D printing, you could take them, remelt them. I guess. I don't know. But I haven't seen a metal coat hanger. Now, when I was growing up, there was a book out, 101 Things to Make Out of a Coat Hanger. And when you were growing up, you used it everything from a rabbit ear on a TV would break, and you would take a coat hanger and stick it down inside it was a telescopic uh, rabbit ears, and you'd stick the coat hanger down into the bottom section, and you could still use the television set. When you're walking or out in your car, people would go by with a car, and they have stuff wired to the bumper with a coat hanger. People used to wire their muffler. The muffler strap would break, and they'd use coat hangers to hold it up. When me and my father used to route wires through the wall, we used to put a hook on the end of two different coat hangers, and we would put the coat hanger upstairs through the wall going down, and the downstairs going up. And I would actually uh, hook my father's hook on his coat hanger and pull it up. And on the end of his coat hanger, he would have the wire taped that we were routing. So we used coat hangers there. You used it for unplugging things that got clogged, like a pipe got clogged, you'd stick a coat hanger through it. And I guess less people do dry cleaning, so there's less coat hangers. That's where they came into my house. We would send suits out to be dry cleaned. And when they come back with the coat hanger with the paper over it that's got an advertisement on it. You rip the advertisement out off, and then you put the coat hanger in the closet, and it gets used. Now, another thing the coat hanger used to be used for, which used to peeve me off, was we had one guy at work. He constantly locked his keys in his car. He would come into work, and it wasn't time to start, so he'd sit in his car and listen to the radio. Actually, he'd sit there and smoke pot, and then he'd get out and close the door and lock his keys in the car. Then he'd come into the company, and he'd go through. He would actually take somebody's coat off a hanger and throw it down on the ground, and then take the coat hanger, unwind it, come over, open somebody's drawer, take out their good diagonal cutters, and cut the coat hanger so he could get it in the window. And I watched him. And one time he broke a $38 pair of my cutters. There were special cutters for removing ICs. I really wanted to kill the guy. I really did. The guy was such a screw up, and he used to talk like this. Bummer, man, bummer, bummer. And then we used to say bum air, and we used to make fun of him behind his back. He was a real low life. But anyway, he would break somebody's diagonal cutters, and he would lock his keys in his car at least twice a month. And sometimes he would take two pairs of expensive diagonal cutters in order to cut through the coat hanger to get a straight edge, so he could make a hook to then go through the window and lift what do we call that? The button? I guess you call it a button. You pull the button up on the door, the door latch, the door lock. And then later on, they made the buttons straight so you couldn't use a coat hanger, and you had to go for the door handle. And I got pretty good at it. and then as time went on, it became really hard to get in the car. You had to use it. I think it wasn't a J bar. It was a piece of flat steel that went down in the door gasket, and then you would lift up the mechanism, the door would open. So car thieves never had trouble. You know, it got easier for them, believe it or not. But coat hangers, you would take one and make a loop and use it as a UHF antenna. I think of some of the other things. You could actually double it up and use it to stir paint. It was the duct tape of that time. In other words, we didn't have duct tape years ago, so a lot of things could be fixed with a wire coat hanger. And you would, as you walked along, they were in the street, coat hangers, because they fell off cars. People would use them to hold stuff down to the roof mounts. Years ago, they had these roof racks that had suction cups on them. You put them on the roof, and there were straps. And then they changed the roofs, so you couldn't use them anymore. It was all a game. But in other words, you could take a coat hanger and wire chairs and stuff to the roof of your car if you're going camping. And it was the duct tape, and it was actually better than duct tape because a lot of times duct tape leaves a residue, and it gets sticky when it gets hot. Where the coat hanger, you just untwisted it, and it would come off, and you throw it away, actually down on the ground. And that's why when I'm walking along and I saw this coat hanger, I'm like, man, that's been a long time since I've seen a coat hanger in the street. And then as I got up to it, it was silver plated. So they might be switching back instead of using plastic, because the plastic's getting ridiculous. You know, I mentioned PFAS in one of my other videos. I have PFAS in my water. I have it in my bloodstream now. Our stream nearby has PFAS in the stream, and it has Roundup, and there's less fish. You run a downhill spiral, but it's always funny. You'll talk to some old guy in the neighborhood, and you mention PFAS, and they go, I have a filter on my water. Now, I happen to know that PFAS goes right through a filter, but I'm not going to argue with the guy. And then I know he doesn't change the filter on his water because he doesn't mow his lawn. You know, yeah, you do. You have a filter on your water to your house, but when was the last time you changed the filter in the filter unit? When was the last time? I know he didn't. He doesn't mow his lawn. But I just happened to mention somebody else, and he starts with about, I have a water filter. He did it several times. Here, I had to take a picture of my water meter and the pipe to prove that I don't have lead, because they're going to remediate it, just like in Jersey. The houses that had leaded pipes, they had to remediate it. People that had leaking oil tanks in their house, they had to have it remediated. Now, in my old town, the plumbing for the town was lead. So they pulled PFAS plastic through to line it. So now, instead of them drinking leaded water, they're drinking water with PFAS in it. It's hilarious stuff. But I just wanted to bring up old friend coat hanger. Now, you might still have a couple coat hangers. And then you might say, you know, he's right. I haven't seen a coat hanger in years. And when you're growing up, man, when you're building like those little go-karts, gravity go-karts, soapbox derby go-karts, as a kid, that was one of your things you could use to temporarily fix something, was a coat hanger. And on a bicycle, I'll tell you the exact thing you used on a bicycle. We had kickstands on a bicycle, and after a while, the spring in it wouldn't hold the kickstand up. As it's retracted, and as you're going along, the crank is hitting it, clunk, clunk, clunk. So then you take a piece of coat hanger and you wrap it around the kickstand. And then when you get to where you're going, you have like a coil of coat hanger around it and the tubing on the bike. You move the coil to the right. Yeah, it would be to the right. Yeah, to the right. And then the kickstand comes down on the bike. You never took a kickstand off a bike because your parent would notice that, and then they would get mad at you. You took something off the bike. It's a whole thing. But yeah, or you'd fix a broken fender on a bicycle by using a piece of coat hanger. Other things on the bike that broke, you would use that. And then if you were making a fort up in a tree, you would lash the main beams to the tree with coat hangers. Think about coat hangers in your life. What did you use it for? I just want to say it's an old buddy, and there was a book, 101 things to, I believe, to make out of a coat hanger. And when we would tease each other in this one company, you'd say to the other guy, you fix everything with coat hangers, And the other insult was you call somebody a shoemaker, and that means they're not precision. They're not a precision worker. They use a lot of extra glue. It's like a guy that makes cakes. He uses a lot of icing to cover the fact that the layers of the cake are not level or even. It's just one of those things. But think about old wire coat hangers. Oh, in the movie Mommy Dearest, you use wire coat hangers. Remember that scene? I think right after that scene, nobody wanted wire coat hangers anymore. I think that's it. All right, viewers, subscribers, that's it.